Hello YouTubers, RogueMonkeyJr here, and welcome to our first monthly or bi-monthly Q&A video here on the channel. So a while back I had announced that I would start doing monthly or bi-monthly Q&As depending on how many questions I would get. I would answer them in the video at the end of the month. So there wasn't a whole lot of questions because I had announced it late July, but now we have a good amount of questions to get the first Q&A out to all of you. Thank you very much for sending in your questions, and if you want to submit a question for the next video next month or the month after that, leave them here or in every live comm on Sundays. So first question comes to us from You Toxic Cake. How long is the production of one video? Now, it all depends on what type of video I'm making. If I'm making a tutorial, it can go up to 10 to 12 hours depending on what I'm making. One of the longer videos I've made was the comparison between no specializations and the specializations for Battlefield 1. That video took about 12 hours to produce, from recording, making the commentary, making all of the edits, rendering, making the thumbnail, and uploading it with all the tags and all that stuff. It took roughly 12 hours. Also, a very long video that I've made was the tribute to Battlefield 4 video about 2 years ago now. If you want to watch either of these videos, I'll leave a link in the description down below, as well as the card in the top right hand corner. But yeah, if it's really long video, it's going to take me maybe 8 to 12 hours. If it's something a little bit shorter, 2 to 3, 4, including rendering time, editing, and all that stuff, some videos are just easier to produce as opposed to others. The next question comes to us from James7921, and he's saying, how tall is Wade? Now, for all of you who don't know who Wade is, it is this dapper young ferret right here. He's a cute little bastard and very rambunctious. He's a little bit more than a year old. I got him very early December last year and have had him since. And standing on his hind legs, he's about 19 inches tall, give or take a few. It is hard to measure him as he is quite energetic when he is awake. Next question comes to us from KingCraft12 Player. I have a question for the video. I'm not sure if someone made this question, but anyway, what was your first Battlefield title that you played? So I go way back to the first ever Battlefield title, so Battlefield 1942. I played all the expansions of that. So I have been around for quite a while within the Battlefield franchise. Next question comes to us from the Mamer. Question for Q&A, do you play with subs? Currently, not really, because it is quite hard to get a schedule to play with subs and actually have the time. Most of the time when I'm playing Battlefield, I'm trying to get some specific footage or something. I haven't really had the urge to play Battlefield 1 all that much, except when I'm trying to record. So I don't really play with subs currently. I did for a little bit here and there, but hopefully with Battlefield 5 I'll start integrating community events and maybe renting a server for like one day a month or something, or every other weekend, to actually get a community event going for playing with subscribers. We have yet another comment from You Toxic Cake with a question. I just gotta say, man, love to just sit back and watch these comms, talking about the live comms. Of all things, you picked the RSC, can't wait for Calibri commentary in your dreams. So the Q&A question, how did you meet Battlefield? I like to think everyone has their own story of meeting with Battlefield. What's yours? So obviously when Battlefield 1942 came out, I was still quite young. It came out in 2002, and it was my dad who actually introduced me to the Battlefield franchise. At the time, obviously, I didn't have a PC of my own. I used my dad's PC, and we had those big, old, god-forsaken monitors that were like big squares, and were really heavy. So we had that, and I started playing Battlefield 1942. At the time, it was a pirated copy of the game, which a lot of people did that back then. But still, that's no excuse. So that was how I met the Battlefield franchise, and then we went on to play Battlefield 2 for probably the longest period of time together, my father and I, and then just kept going from there. Next question comes from Crevetta. For Q&A, can you tell us more about your job in detail if possible, because it has always been quite vague. Also, are there any chances you're going public? If so, can I have your balance sheets? So all you need to know about my job is I deal with a whole lot of beer and alcohol. If I told you more, I would have to go to Belgium and hunt you down. Next, we have yet another question from James7921. Man, I miss this game. Being a part of this community, the RMJ community, was and is fucking amazing. I know I'm not as active in it as I used to be, but when I was an active member, it was really cool. Everyone is so nice. Thank you. I remember bugging you to make 500 subs Q&A video, and you finally did when you got 1,000 subs. We've had our ups and downs, but it's always turned out well in the end. Can't wait for the future of the channel. It only gets better from here, mate. First of all, I appreciate that and the encouragement and constant support of everybody that is part of the RMJ community. So this question, what has been your favorite part of this game you've shared with the community? So my favorite part was and still is the battlefield coaching. It's something that I really enjoy making, that I feel gets the community involved in sending in their footage and all that stuff, and at the same time I give back by maybe helping community members get a little bit better at playing first-person shooters, and more specifically Battlefield. So I have to say that's probably my favorite part of the game that I've shared with the community thus far. And last but certainly not least, OG Games, I would imagine that's how you pronounce your name. So he has a 3-part question. So 1, have you always played on PC? Yes, I've mostly always played on PC. I have had the odd console here and there, like the Super Nintendo, the Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, but never really got into gaming on those. I pretty much only played with friends when they came over because it was just a little bit more convenient to play video games on those consoles, but I've generally always played on PC with my dad. When did you start gaming? I started gaming when I was 11 years old, so that was quite a while ago. That was about 15 years ago. So just a little bit after Battlefield 1942 came out is when I started playing video games like consistently. And what was the first game you ever played? So one of the first games I ever played on PC was Return to Castle Wolfenstein, the original. That was an amazing game. Then I moved on to Enemy Territory, played the hell out of that online. It was an amazing game at the time. And if we're talking about the first game that I really ever played, console and PC combined, it was a game on the Super Nintendo. I completely forget the name. It's been years since I've played it. It was a 2D platformer in which you played a soldier that you had to go through a bunch of different levels, and it was playable with more than one person. So I played the hell out of that with my father, and it was a great game. I can't for the life of me think of the name. I even looked online trying to describe it as best as I can and couldn't find anything that reminded me of what it was or the name of it. So I apologize for that. So that's it for the August monthly Q&A. Thank you very much once again for sending in all of your questions. It really gave me a good blast from the past. I hope you all enjoyed and that the answers were satisfactory. If you want to leave more questions, leave them in the comments down below here or on every live comm on Sundays to have your question maybe featured on one of the upcoming videos for the monthly Q&A. Again, if we don't have enough questions for September Q&A, it'll go to the month of October. So that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as I release Battlefield and first-person shooter-related content pretty much every day. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.